I found my first deal. You guys are gonna do the steal. $17,000, 6 bedrooms, 6 baths,
Show the picture.
5,100 square feet. It's a fixer-upper.
What the f? Bro, I could buy that outright.
Let's buy it today, boys, and let's just do the studio here.
JK house, dude, JK. Welcome back to another episode of Careful Boys. We got Minh Nguyen with us today.
Hey.
So you were saying that you specialize in solving unique problems for people that are looking for a loan.
Correct.
What are some of the weirdest problems you've had to solve that are very unique?
Most fucked
OnlyFans. OnlyFans
That's
girls.
a problem.
OnlyFans girls, they don't know that they go to the bank, they get to, oh my gosh, I made all this money all of a sudden. They got good credit because before they did OnlyFans, they had a sugar daddy. But now OnlyFans came out, there is no sugar daddy they need. They have OnlyFans. But now they have money, they have good credit, but they go to the banks can't give them loans. They come to me, and there's bank statement programs, there's P&L programs. I have a sugar, I don't have a sugar baby, but the client is a sugar
Let's go,
baby.
man.
Yeah. The sugar baby goes to a school around my house, and I live close to Irvine. I'm just saying.
UC Irvine.
She got this guy to give her almost like 600 grand.
Oh my God.
So she doesn't have a job. She's in school. So there's these P&L programs where you take the amount of money in the account. It has to be sitting there for a while. So this guy leaves money in her account, and you do some math, and this is how much the payment you can allow.
It has to be seasoned.
Correct.
How
And then
long?
now-
3 months?
Like I think.
What do you mean it has to be seasoned?
They have to put cumin powder, garlic.
They need to know that money is real and it's in an account. It's not some straw buyer.
Yeah.
So now she's in school. I think she's on her 2nd or 3rd year, and this guy left her like 600 grand. So now she's buying a house, and she doesn't have a job. She doesn't have anything. It's called a P&L program. Wow. Asset depletion program.
So for you, because you're able to get flexible and solve these problems because you have hella loan products that you have access to.
Or if I don't and I just know where to go, I tell people. So it's a lot of times the reason why people trust me, I'll tell them, hey, I can't do it, but go here. Like we're talking about builders. Hey, go to the builder because they're going to give you this, but you can still send me your paperwork. I'll review. Or hey, if they are from another country, I'm like, hey, I would go to Cafe Bank for this one because they're going to give you this deal where.
Question real quick. This might be
Cafe Bank killed.
Cafe Bank.
If you ball in Cafe Bank's where to go.
This might be on some meta financial shit, but like when a said sugar dude gives her 600 grand, is that like a gift? Is that not considered income that's taxable that like shows up in some sort of way?
It just leaves it in her bank account. It's not like taxable money.
That's tight.
Leaves it in her bank account?
It's like his money. It's his money and her money in the account. It's like if you transfer money in another account, it's still.
So they have a joint account.
Yeah, they have a joint. Correct.
Okay.
That he's like an account holder of that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
The pimpology.
Can you? Okay, so
Well, that
so
depends
can you
if it's
open a joint?
untaxed for him or not.
That's
so
what I'm
like,
saying. Is-
Yeah.
can you-
So
can
we
you
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know like, hey, they have this account and she's in school, no job, decent credit, and she's able to.
Let's say I make like $1 million, right? And then I pay taxes on it. Afterwards, I have like 600 grand. Can I just open a joint account with Joe and then just put 600 grand in it, and he has full access to it, and it's not considered income for him?
Yeah.
Yep. Because you're on the account.
Sugar baby.
Because you're gay.
Sugar daddy, sugar baby. Yep. And you're gay.
And you're gay.
You guys are both gay.
I told you you
But
didn't have
then-
to pay taxes.
Falls under the homo clause. But if you deposit the 600K into the account and it's untaxed money, then you're still subject to it personally.
Yeah, that's what I'm
don't
saying.
have to
I
do it.
already paid taxes on it.
Oh, yeah,
That's what I'm saying. If I already paid,
You guys have to kiss for the government so they know that you're real though.
but you just have to open a joint account.
Yeah, a joint account just makes it doesn't even matter if you're married. It's just two people on it, so they can access the money no matter what.
Boys, let's have some.
So,
joint
for
accounts.
example, a real life example of this, and this is what made me think that my dad planned it all out. Well, he plays a long game. So, like 20 years ago, he already put me as an account holder for all of his accounts.
Wow.
So my dad, he passed away. When he passed away, I didn't have to go through any of the like probate type stuff or account those things for extra taxes, or when I handle his situation, it's not like all these things go to the government and then I take care of it. I'm just already an account holder that he's already paid.
So mini tangent. Does that only have to happen at opening the account, or like for example, right now, let's say, yeah, like can like my dad add me to his bank account now?
He can do that, or there's something called transfer on death, TOD. Same thing.
And also different states have different things. So for example, in Nevada, it's what is the fuck the word called? Where you're fucking married no matter what.
Common law?
Is it common law? Maybe. But you're in Nevada, you don't even have to do that with your wife. Because everything that's your property, if you're married, is her property. Everything that's hers is yours.
Community state.
Community state. So like when I go and buy a gun, I'm like, oh, can I get it in Gio's name or my name? The gun store, like in Nevada, doesn't matter. What's yours is hers. What's hers is yours. Yeah. So like it depends on the state too. Okay. Yeah.
So those are the challenge. I see a lot of self-employed people buying homes now. More self-employed. So I solve a lot of self-employed problems. So people who have to go bank statements, and of course, guidelines change before they want 24 months. So think about if you're doing OnlyFans, you only been doing it for a year. You got to wait that second year. Now you don't. After 12 months, you can buy.
Wow. Because you can have banking statements.
This is what we talked about.
So when it comes to
Poker players now, a lot of people, they can buy homes now without paying cash. And they
Hit up man, dude.
Dude.
is it because you don't have to go to big banks and then you have different like people that are like funding it and different organizations?
Yeah, Wall Street's funding it because they have an appetite for it. Because think about this: you're buying a property and you're putting such a big down payment. Because the can't say her name, but she put 30% down. So if you're buying something, she put 30% down. Like I would want to take on that debt because if she forecloses, like, dude, I get 30%. Yeah, that's yeah. So they're not gonna do like 5% down like back in 2008. They're gonna do 30-40% down.
They gotta ask
40%. Yeah,
I see.
That makes sense.
That is really cool though, because I think back in the day, you could only get a house, like the most convenient way to get a house is if you're a regular W-2 person,
right?
And you have fucking 3 years at that job, which is why people like they don't want to leave their job because you need to have like your tax returns for 3 years. So even if you fucking hate your boss, but if you really want to buy a house, you just got to deal with that shit, and you have to have 20%. And there's like all these things that it takes to get a house, but now with like all the different products you offer, there's so many different ways you can do it.
Wow. And the reason why the banks don't offer these programs because they are loaning. Think about it, if you bank there, you want your money to be safely lent out because you want it to come back to you, correct? So the bank's not going to loan out your money on risk.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah, if they do that, they don't want to take on that risk.
I don't want to put my money in a bank and knowing they're going to loan it to Nick. Because I'm going to sit there and do nothing.
He's got to ask his wife.
But I think
Or no strips.
I think the big thing is that people who can afford to buy a home right now are self-employed. They have the higher chance of buying a home right now because they get to write off everything, so they get to keep majority of their money. So now the ones buying, but now there wasn't a product for it. Now there's products for it so that they can buy homes. The biggest one I see is that a lot of people, they want to buy a home, like I have my wife, I have my kid, check, I got to buy a home. Now I got to go pay Uncle Sam $60,000, $70,000 in taxes just so I can buy a home. And if you do the math now, we had a guy like, you're going to pay $70,000 or pay $500 a month or pay $500 a month in your taxes, monthly payments, or why don't you just buy a home, pay a higher interest rate? It makes more sense than to.
That's what I had to do. So for our first home, I think this was 2015 or 16 or 17. They didn't have all these cool products, so we went from a season of like me and Joe going like deduct everything on our taxes, but so you show like you don't make any more money. To I was talking to our financial advisor. I'm like, hey, well, I think we're looking to buy a house. And he goes, well, for the next 2 or 3 years, you're just gonna have to pay way more taxes so that you can show that your affordability is high. And then, so you just have to eat the tax cost. But now you got so many products, you can kind of have the best of both worlds and deduct everything. But then if you have like a banking statement loan, then all it has to show is that you have enough money coming in.
Oh, so you're still okay if you like wrote off egregious
They don't look at your tax returns. And you think about this. Let's say you owe Uncle Sam $70,000 just so you can qualify to buy a home. I'd rather take that $70,000, put it into the principal of my house, and get a better deal.
Because that's what I get scared about.
Yeah. And then let's say you do have a higher rate. But if you work from home and you can allot out a certain part of your house as an office, now you got that deduction on your interest rate. You have the Augusta law. You have like all these other laws now that like
5-bedroom office.
I rent my house to my LLC.
And that's why it's worth going non-QM.
That's cool.
One of the coolest loans, so we just did this for the other project we're working on, is a DSCR loan. So what's sick about a DSCR loan, and you get underwritten in like 2 weeks. So when you have tax returns, sometimes it takes like months, back and forth. Let me see this financial document, blah blah blah, and you're like, and if you're trying to get a house, it takes forever. Someone can outbid you in that time because it's taking like 3 months to get all the paperwork done. The DSCR loan, it's based off of the rentability of the house. So let's say the house is like 200. If they think, or the bank thinks that they can rent this house for $2,000 a month. That's what the mortgage is going to be. All you have to do is put down enough where that's what the mortgage is, so that if they seize the house, they know they can rent it and still cover the money that you owe them. And all that happens like that.
Wow.
So you can get fucking pre-approval letters. You can get loan approved instantly, and you don't have to send tax returns or anything like that. It's fucking sick.
What kind of loan is this?
DSCR.
That's why in these states now, that's why, like, I'm telling you, these states where it's a 200, 300,000, it makes sense to be rent positive now, because you can get a loan without showing any tax returns. It rents positive, and that's how they're buying up these properties.
And even in those situations, let's say you had like $200,000 to get a $200,000 house, you would still get a loan on it versus paying out.
If it's 200,000, I wouldn't put more than 40,000 out of pocket.
Wow. Always use other people's money. Always.
I'd rather profit a little bit than tie up all your money.
So we should rob a bank and use that money.
Man, I'm gonna have to talk to you, bro.
But
You mean you gotta talk to Tiff?
if you want to,
I gotta talk to this guy.
But if you don't want
He's the
to-
prettiest girl at the ball right now.
if you don't want to take that risk, like I said, there's a bank out there. Like, you guys want to look it up? It's called Kiavi. Kiavi right now owns the market in these bridge hard money loans. So they will loan you up to 75% of the after repair value. So let's say the home's 200,000. Wow. You just have to put 20,000, 10% down. So you're not tying in 200 grand. They'll give you the money to buy the property and rehab the property.
Wow.
On the interest only for 12 months, and then you convert it to a DSCR afterwards, and you cash flow. So that's how they're buying, and they're getting their money back out. Let's say you put in 10% down. So think about this: 200,000, 10% down. 6 months later, you get that 20 grand back, and you do it again.
Anthony, we could buy all of Cleveland. we can buy all of it.
But I mean, on a hard money loan, what is that? Like 25% interest if you don't put it back in time?
It has to cash. Like, they're not going to loan you the money unless it makes sense. So you think about, no matter what you find, if it doesn't rent positive or there's not equity, Kiavi's not going to loan you the money. So it's like a, what do you call it? A fail safe, or like a.
Yeah.
So their underwriters are making sure that you're doing like a rehab with a good cash flow to make sure like you're not making a dumb decision.
But if you know how to underwrite, this is a fucking gold mine. Like, if you're trying to do a fucking serial burring, this is a fucking gold mine.
And you just get your money back. You recycle it. At most, you're tying a couple $100 here and there. I mean, a couple $1,000, and then you do the next one, the next one, the next one. And they're interest only. They're. I was surprised.
Interest only sick.
Yeah, I was surprised like, dude, how good they are. And then you.
Well, if you're burring, it's interest only is what you kind of want, right?
And then 6 months, and then now DSCR has interest only loans, and they have 40-year mortgages. So like, because it's all about cash flow now.
Yeah, so sick.
So think about, you can buy a property. That's why if you have a little bit of money and you work hard and actually call and get these deals, then you're good.
I got about like $50.
And the coolest thing about this is you have to rehab.
Pay for a notary.
They're releasing the money.
Only one.
They're releasing the money in phases to pay your general contractor. So you're not even fronting the rehab. They're giving you the money and they're releasing in phases to pay your contractor. Wow. So they're like, you're only out the 10% down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is this all kind of like pretty new?
No, it's been around. Just these people don't talk about it. And then now I started doing them. And the reason I'm just telling you guys straight up, because as a broker, you do them, but eventually they're so big they don't care that if brokers tell them like F you afterwards, because people go direct after that. A lot of people just go direct. The fees are lower. Let's be honest, like the fees are lower. Yeah. Everything's a lot lower.
And everything's gonna be like SoFi. Like, it's all digital. You could just plug in.
Do you do interest only construction loans?
That's what they do.
Do you have access to it?
I don't have access to that. That's too crazy.
I like working with you though. I don't want to
rather
work
work with you.
I don't want to work with Rusco.
Yeah.
I don't know those guys.
Damn, that's sick though. That's pretty cool.
The hack I think right now that I see a lot of
Interesting.
people are getting.
That makes a lot of sense though, because then now like they could be like mini banks, and then if they can go direct to consumer, go digital, they don't have to pay all the staff that banks do, and then they're carving out that niche. Yeah, that's really smart actually, and it's only a 12-month.
It's a 12-month, and then you refinance it into a DSCR. So that's why they allow. They've already came up with a mathematical hack. It's like 75% ARV. You put 10% down, you're at 65. The DSCR will go up to 75 to 85 depending on if you are experienced. If you're experienced, then you can get that extra 10% love on it. Yeah. And now you're like getting money back while you're renting it out.
So do they have the link to the refi, or do you refi with them?
They have it, but then you can also go to other people. At that point, like that brokering the DSCR would be cheaper.
And when you pull the money out, you go even with them, and then
But if you've done it for a while, you can get that extra 10% back.
on top.
Correct. Correct, because some banks will let you go to 85%. So
Oh,
you
shit.
buy 75,
Oh,
you put
shit.
10% down,
Yeah.
and then most banks you can go back to 75,
Yeah.
or some banks will go to 85 if you have experience.
And that's the refi money because it's tax free, right? Yeah. Nice.
It's not a taxable event.
Nice.
Man, that's crazy.
But I mean, the legwork here is finding the deal and finding a thing with enough like margin so that they will lend to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
You just gotta find it. But out there right now in Ohio, it's there. Yeah.
So how would someone like work out of state like that? Like, does it make sense to team up with the agent in that state that can find you these specifics, or is it like off market deals that you gotta go door to door, cold call, like?
There's agents that
right.
specialize in helping you find these
But
too.
in Cleveland right now and in Philadelphia, they're just on the MLS. They're on Zillow because the knowledge is just not there yet. Or like, dude, I need my money now. I need my money now. Like, you think about this, people are about, I need my money now. I need my money now type of attitude. And they're not paying to rehab it. So like, if this is what it's worth right now without the rehab, I just need to dump it. I don't have the money to rehab it. Let me just put it on the market as is.
That's interesting.
Are you interested?
I'm very interested.
No, you're not, dude.
You don't know me, dude.
You're not gonna do it.
Can we get him to sign right now?
Where do I sign?
ZILLO.
But honestly, even Zillow has so many tools on it now. There's fucking like there's Zestimate, their fucking rental meter or whatever.
You trust Zestimate? So does
No,
I feel
but
like
it's a
scam,
good
dude.
ballpark, right? So if they're like, if you're looking like, because a lot of it just has to do with playing the numbers game. Even if you cold call these people, you go 20 homes down the line, and you just send lowball offers to all of them. All you need is one of them to bite, to go below the Zestimate. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get rid of this house. If you already have a buyer for me, whatever. Then you hit up the agent that's listed on there. Then there's a fucking rental meter. It tells you how much generally you can rent it for. And then you can kind of just search around. Oh, cool. If I just like
does it all
repaint,
different.
repaint this, maybe put a new counter in here or whatever. I spend like 10 G's and I can now increase my rent by $500. If you look around and click around, you can do a lot of that work. Where before you have to know people and call people, it's so much easier than it was before.
All right, dude.
Everyone's starting to look.
Guys, I can't talk right now. I gotta find some deals.
I gotta find some houses, guys.
How about we do this? We find the best deals and then we evaluate it on the spot.
Let's do it.
Let's find out, dude.
That's what fucking
Where are you looking at?
Thatcher's
I
classes.
know, that's what I'm saying. We
Have you
gotta
seen
get our
Thatcher's class on
live
Tuesday?
rounds in
Deal or
right
no
now.
deal? Literally, people present and underwrite their deals, and he tells you, "Ah,
shit,
fuck that! You see that tree in the front? Yeah, no one's gonna fucking rent that."
Dude, these prices are crazy. These prices
Is it
are
really
absolutely
over
crazy.
things like that? Like little details like that?
Yeah. But he's so straight up though. People are like, oh my god, I found my favorite house in Seattle, Washington. What do you think about that? He goes, no, look at the house. There's no place to park cars. Like he's just straight. He knows exactly what people want when they're, like he's like very practical.
I like when you roast people for not doing their homework though.
I found my first deal. You guys are gonna do
hear
a
it.
steal. $17,000, 6 bedrooms,
Show 'em the
6
picture,
bath,
though. Show 'em the picture.
5,100 square feet. It's a fixer-upper.
What the fuck?
It's a fixer-upper.
What is that shit?
Bro, I could buy that outright.
Let's buy it today, boys, and let's just do the studio here.
JK House.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing.
In Cleveland.
I'll tell you one thing.
It
So,
snows. White Christmas.
so you guys know I was doing that public storage out in Ohio.
Yeah.
We also had a couple other properties lined up that we wanted to scope out. One of them was this 40-unit apartment complex for 900 grand, right? So we're like, oh shit, that's a fucking steal. 40 units. It's over there, everything's like a third world state, so everything's cheap. We go there, we show up to the property. We already know it's a fixer-upper like this. All the windows are boarded up, right? The minute we get about a foot away from the property, you hear
Little crackheads running out.
at least 30 crackheads in there. So you're like, oh, that's why some of these are like this. Where the problem isn't really the property, is how do you get the human roaches out of there? Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, they got a deal on flamethrowers right now.
But if you know how to solve that problem, then 17 G's is a steal.
You know that 17G house, if it was in Hawaii, that's a $1.2 million house? I just sent Bart this fucking crummy old house. It was for $995
In Hawaii.
in Hawaii. It looks like
They have the.
Can you hear the sounds of the house?
Dude, that's crazy.
they don't have the crackheads, but it might as well be a crackhead.
How much did you say this shit was?
17,000.
17 grand. Would you buy that?
Nah, man. I think you have to also think about you have to
Buy for zero.
like all the other issues that comes with it. So you have to think about all that. So it's like,
But
I'd
the
rather
transit
take-
score is 50 out of 100. That's pretty good, right?
No, that's his transient.
Oh,
Right in the middle. Perfect.
it's next to 2 Jamba Juices.
Good deal.
I don't know if there'll be Jamba Juices.